If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. If you're not familiar with the Earn It Act or the Earn It Bill, you need to become familiar with it. It was discussed as recently, I believe it's last year, 2020 possibly it was, but now it's been passed in the Senate. And the reason you should be concerned about this is because this is the beginning of online regulation. This is the beginning of removing content for more reasons than we're already seeing, right? So we already see, obviously channels like mine and other truthers out there having their content and stuff like that removed, but it goes way beyond that. This goes into what you write on videos, what you write, things that are encrypted, privacy, all of that the government's going to have control over. Now, just like the rotten scoundrels, even though that sounds like a term from the 1940s, that these people are, they use children as the way to kind of get people on board to want this, right? Because we know that these people care nothing about children. But by doing that, obviously, again, this is sigil magic. This is Aleister Crowley at his, what he taught everyone to do everything in reverse, right? Upside down world. So using the children as the way to get this censorship, to begin banning people, to begin throwing people off the internet, to beginning of filing lawsuits against websites even like Wix or, websites you have personal blogs on, like my website, where, it's not a personal blog, but websites like that where they could actually throw you off the internet because they feel like you could be a threat in some way. That's what it's leading towards, but they're using children up front to bring in this censorship. So the controversial bill, how tech platforms and websites handle child, has cleared the hurdle on Thursday as a Senate panel voted to approve the legislation despite vocal objections from civil rights groups who say the proposal as written will backfire and harm all internet users, which is true. And again, you all know that I'm obviously 100,000,000% for protecting the children. They do nothing to protect children. It's pretty easy to find, like I've mentioned recently about certain person's Instagram posts. I mean, that would be enough for them to bring somebody in for questioning because they were so disturbing. And you can look at it all, we see stuff here on YouTube that's allowed up, that's disgusting and creepy, and they leave it up. This is about, they don't care about the kids. This is how you bring in legislation. You use the kids as a crux and you say, look, we're doing this for the kids. And then, now that we've loosened the rules here, let's begin regulating what people are saying, because obviously the big threat, and even according to Homeland Security as of this week, is misinformation. If you're the new Taliban, people like us are considered the new Taliban because misinformation, even though we have a difference of opinion, even though it's not even an opinion what we're giving, it's fact, they've labeled this in people's eyes so people consider us dangerous because they just believe what they hear, and the more they beat it into their heads, suddenly we live in a world where people aren't afraid of the boogeyman in the cave, they're afraid of people talking online and having a different perspective on things and questioning what Big Brother's doing. But that's another video I'll cover with the Homeland Security Act, or the Homeland Security warning that they put up this week. But the legislation is known as the Earn It Act of 2022. It's been passed. It's reignited the debate over tech platforms' legal protections under federal law. And by being passed, I mean it's being passed. It's gone through the next stage in the Senate of approval, which means, it has to go up for vote, and it can go up for vote at any time. That's why people need to become aware and push back so they ease off a little bit here. It comes as U.S. lawmakers have increasingly pushed to amend Section 230 of the Communications Act of 1934, which tech platforms have cited for years to duck lawsuits over the user-created content they host on their website. So in other words, YouTube can't be sued over, videos of people like me or you or whoever else. If they come up with some type of psyop, they're protected. Well, now if they push a law like this, YouTube can be sued. So then what that means is that YouTube and all these other places will crack down way, way more than they already are. And pretty much any conspiracy, even talking about Sasquatch or anything like that, will be taken off the internet. because they'll say it's dangerous because, we don't want to get sued for you, making up things in your head and putting it on the internet. Everything has to be 100% factually based. And that's only according to what we say is facts, because no one else has facts except for these lying talking heads on the TV who are so bad at their job that they've managed to create pushback at a time where they should have total control right now. But they're pathetic. I mean, they should maybe get the, everything they do at the Tavistock Institute, they might want to take a look at it, reevaluate the whole thing, and get a new curriculum over there, because it's absolutely pathetic. The talking heads are falling over themselves on television. But by narrowing Section 230's scope, the latest bill seeks to create more legal exposure for companies that fail to do enough to remove anything involving children. Tech platforms can already face criminal prosecution at the federal level for knowingly facilitating the spread of you-know-what with the children, but the legislation goes further, making it possible for states to bring civil and criminal suits on the matter as well. The bill also seeks to establish a commission which will be led by federal law enforcement charged with publishing voluntary best practices for tech platforms on how to combat you-know-what with children. It's a carrot and stick approach that effectively tells websites how they may, as the bill's name implies, earn their liability protection. Okay, they say our goal is to tell social media companies, get involved and stop this crap. And if you don't take responsibility for what's on your platform, then Section 230 will not be there for you, right? And you could read between the lines there. This is from Senator Lindsey Graham. This has nothing to do with children when he says that. This is take responsibility for what's on your platform. So in other words, they pass this bill and they create a psyop. And they say it's because of people like you and me on the internet who are questioning what the government's doing, and they consider it a threat. And then all these websites will say, get these people off of there now, immediately, because they're a threat, or we're going to sue YouTube. And then they'll put their hands up and go, well, we don't have a choice now. Or they'll feel more pressure to do it, or they'll hire teams to do it. And they're all in it together. Obviously, YouTube and all, they're all in on it together. So they don't have a problem with this. They want to get people like me and you off the internet anyway. Okay, so critics of the legislation say the standard for what's considered enough enforcement is ambiguous in the bill and opens the door to vast overreach by federal and state governments, internet censorship, and the undermining of encryption technology that is essential for protecting everything from consumer email accounts to sensitive business and military secrets. The goal of the legislation, the Earn It Act, is part of a broader bipartisan push to rein in tech platforms, joining a slew of bills related to antitrust policy, content moderation, and other issues. So like I said earlier, they use kids as a way to get people to go, oh, it sounds like a good bill because we need to protect kids, because people with souls and normal people want them to protect kids. But what they do is they use that to tighten the restrictions on these platforms so that they could start going, oh, well, now, it's not, we have all this stuff in there to protect kids. And then 6 months later, there's psyops that are created. And they say, well, now, we also need to push this into misinformation. And all the zombies out there will be like, yeah, we're fine with that too, because they can't stand people like us, right? But they're going to get people who are quote unquote on the right, who don't understand what this bill means, to be on board with it too, because they're going to say, well, it's about protecting the kids. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah. But they don't realize that they're using that to lure people in. It's a giant facade for censorship, for removing content. And it's not just YouTube I'm talking about. It's not just Facebook I'm talking about personal websites and personal blogs. That's what this is heading towards. So this is heading towards things like my website or other places. And they can create psyops even with the websites, right? They can post on there and pretend they're someone else. And but you're responsible for who's on your website, call. And and then Wix is responsible for letting you, and blah, 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 blah. And they'll continue to shut people down because they've messed this up so bad that so many more people are waking up. It's absolutely pathetic. Whoever's in charge, next time they're at the Bohemian Grove or the Bilderberg, they literally should whip some of these people, or, take them into a room and just be like, I would be humiliated. If I was a Rothschild, if I was at the top of this pyramid and I watched how they're executing stuff, the double talk all the time. Oh, you don't need this on your face. Oh, now you do. And then you don't. And then you do. And like that kind of stuff is what's waking up real sleeping zombies, because they're going, yeah, they did say that. When you point it out to them in videos like I do, where you show them, look, they said this a month ago. Now it's this. Then it's that, right? Where's Heard, right? Now, I'm not going to get into that type of content right now, but you know what I'm talking about. these people are getting absolutely outed for what they really are and who they really are. So more than ever, they need people like me and you off the platform. But I said, here's where they're going to make a mistake, is that they're going to get people like me and you off the platform, off the internet, where we're just using speech and we're behind computers and phones and things like that, and take it to the streets. Because if they think that it's going to make people just shut up, sit in a corner in their room, they're out of their minds. There's more of us than them. So doing things like this are a huge mistake, especially if there's people like me. I know most of you, I read the comments yesterday, want to do more. I know that I want to do more, and they're going to entice people, because if there is no option on the internet anymore, then the option does go to the streets. And I doubt that they want that, because look, we know, and that's the problem with doing something on the streets, is that they infiltrate all of these movements. That's what I was saying about the convoy. Whether the convoy was real or not, you saw they attempted to infiltrate it by putting in people with Confederate flags. And it's only going to, now that it's spreading to America, it makes you wonder more and more if it is a psyop. And of course, you still have to wait and see what comes of it, right? But they infiltrate movements. So even if we started a movement and we said it was a nonviolent movement, they'd infiltrate people in there, shooting off bang-bangs, and then we'd all get arrested. I mean, that's how they work. That's what the SJWs do. That's what the Antifa does. And really, we should just say that's what the CIA does, because they're the ones who are behind it. So maybe that's what they want in the long run. I'm not sure. But we'll see if this act goes further into Congress. I mean, it's, they're using kids like, minors. They say proponents of the bill say it's meant to give victims of digital, with children who may have had explicit videos of themselves as minors shared without consent on social media a day in court. And that's not what they care about, and that's not what they're doing this for, because they easily could already do that with the laws that are in place. They're doing it to censor everyone off the internet and to have a completely controlled internet. And it wouldn't surprise me if this gets passed in 2022. So keep an eye on that. And again, this is just remember, this is how they lure you. They use children as bait. They do not care about children, clearly. As I showed yesterday with the school that is trying to teach kids just disturbing stuff with pizza. You can check out the video if you haven't seen it. I definitely recommend you check it out. It's in my, under my videos, it's like 2 days. It's from yesterday, so it's 2 videos deep. So definitely check it out. I thank everyone for being here. Reminder, check out the website at callforuprising.com. I definitely would join while it lasts, because if this bill does get passed, yes, that means that websites like mine, like I said, can be taken down, but it'll start with places like YouTube. It'll get people used to it, and then they'll move on to other platforms. So Rumble, BitChute, they'll be linked in with YouTube, okay? Facebook, Twitter. Then they'll start saying, well, now these people who did that, they've moved to their own website, so now we need to do that. So, but for the time being, it is safe, it is secure, and it is a great place to learn, share information, interact with each other, and watch exclusive videos, especially censored videos from YouTube that are over there uncensored. So check it out. I want to thank the patrons and thank all of you for your support. I hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.